Shalom, my brothers and sisters in Yahweh, our Elohim, and welcome to our Monday edition of our extra-canonical studies. Tonight, the Book of Jasher, chapter 40, 40, 41, and 42. So if you've got a Dead Sea Scroll book, go ahead and grab it, and we'll get started tonight. This has been an action-packed study, gang. Our last study, we were fighting giants, big old men of renown, the Amorites and the Canaanites. And we're going to continue to be fighting them this study too. So let's get ready. These are pretty interesting. And these are giants, because if you remember right, the Amorites and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and all of the Philistines and all of them, they're giants. There's a bunch of giants in there. They're not only heathens and pagans, but there's some giants in there too. So, and these mighty men, that they're giants. So let's get ready to read this tonight. Hopefully my sinuses cooperate. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Alright, drink a coffee real quick and we'll get going. Alright, you ready? Here we go. And the sons of Jacob led away all the spoils of Gaash, and went out of the city by night. They were going out marching toward the castle of Beth-Corin, and the inhabitants of Beth-Corin were going to the castle to meet them. On that night the sons of Jacob fought with the inhabitants of Beth-Corin in the castle of Beth-Corin, and all the inhabitants of Beth-Corin were mighty men. One of them would not flee from before 1,000 men. And they fought on that night on the castle. Their shouts were heard on that night from afar, and the earth quaked at their shouting. And all the sons of Jacob were afraid of those men, as they were not accustomed to fight in the dark, and they were greatly perplexed. The sons of Jacob cried to the Elohim, saying, Give help to us, O Elohim, deliver us, that we may not die by the hand of these uncircumcised men. And the Elohim listened to the voice of the sons of Jacob, and the Elohim caused great terror and confusion to seize the people of Beth-Corin. They fought amongst themselves with one another in the darkness of night, and struck each other in great numbers. The sons of Jacob, knowing that the Elohim had brought a spirit of perverseness among those men, and that they fought each man with his neighbor, went forth from among the bands of the people of Beth-Corin, and went as far as the descent of the castle of Beth-Corin, and further. They stayed there securely with their young men on that night. And the people of Beth-Corin fought the whole night, one man with his brother, and the other with his neighbor. They cried out in every direction on the castle, and their cry was heard at a distance, and the whole earth shook at their voice, for they were powerful above all the people of the earth. And all the inhabitants of the cities of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and all the kings of Canaan, and also those who were on the other side of the Jordan, heard the noise of the shouting that night. They said, Certainly, these are the battles of the Hebrews who are fighting against the 7 cities, who came near to them. Who can stand up against those Hebrews? All the inhabitants of the cities of the Canaanites, and all those who were on the other side of the Jordan, were greatly afraid of the sons of Jacob. For they said, Behold, the same will be done to us as was done to those cities, for who can stand against their mighty strength? And the cries of the Koranites were very great on that night, and continued to increase. They struck each other till morning, and numbers of them were killed. And the morning appeared. All the sons of Jacob rose up at daybreak and went up to the castle, and they struck those who remained of the Koranites in a terrible manner, and they were all killed in the castle. And the 6th day appeared, And all the inhabitants of Canaan saw at a distance all the people of Beth-Corin lying dead in the castle of Beth-Corin, and scattered about as the carcasses of lambs and goats. And the sons of Jacob led all the spoil which they had captured from Gaash, and went to Beth-Corin. They found the city full of people, like the sand of the sea, and they fought with them. And the sons of Jacob struck them till evening time. And the sons of Jacob did to Beth-Corin as they had done to Gaash and Tapnach, and as they had done to Shizar and Sarton and Shiloh. The sons of Jacob took with them the spoil of Beth-Corin, and all the spoil of the cities, and on that day they went home to Shechem. And the sons of Jacob came home to the city of Shechem, and they remained outside the city, and they rested there from the war, and stayed there all night. Notice, they're observing Shabbat, because on the 6th day they got done fighting, on the 7th day they went home. They're following Shabbat. They're observing it. Okay, verse 18. And all their servants, together with all the spoil that they had taken from the cities, were left outside the city. They did not enter the city, for they said, perhaps there may yet be more fighting against us, and they may come to besiege us in Shechem. Jacob and his sons and their servants remained that night, and the next day in the portion of the field which Jacob had purchased from Hamor for 5 shekels, and all that they had captured was with them. All the booty which the sons of Jacob had captured was in the portion of the field, immense as the sand on the seashore. They got a lot of cattle now. The inhabitants of the land observed them from afar, and they were afraid of the sons of Jacob who had done this thing, for no king from the days of old had ever done the like. The 7 kings of the Canaanites resolved to make peace with the sons of Jacob, for they were greatly afraid for their lives on account of the sons of Jacob. And on that day, being the 7th day, Jephthah, king of Hebron, sent secretly to the king of Ai, and the king of Gibeon, and to the king of Shalem, and to the king of Adullam, and to the king of Lachish, and to the king of Shazar, and to all the Canaanitish kings who were under their subjection, saying, Go up with me, and come to me, that we may go to the sons of Jacob, and I will make peace with them, and form a treaty with them, that all your land not be destroyed by the swords of the sons of Jacob, as they did to Shechem, and the cities around it, as you have heard and seen. And when you come to me, do not come with many men, but let every king bring his 3 head captains, and every captain bring 3 of his officers. And come all of you to Hebron. We will go together to the sons of Jacob, and request them to form a treaty of peace with us. And all those kings did as the king of Hebron had sent to them, for they were all under his counsel and command. And all the kings of Canaan assembled to go to the sons of Jacob to make peace with them. The sons of Jacob returned, and went to the portion of the field that was in Shechem, for they did not put confidence in the kings of the land. And the sons of Jacob returned and remained in the portion of the field 10 days, and no one came to make war with them. When the sons of Jacob saw that there was no appearance of war, they all assembled and went to the city of Shechem, and the sons of Jacob remained in Shechem. And at the expiration of 40 days, there's that number again, all the kings of the Amorites assembled from all their places, and came to Hebron, to Japhia, king of Hebron. The number of kings that came to Hebron to make peace with the sons of Jacob was 21 kings, and the number of captains that came with them was 69, and their men were 189. All these kings and their men rested by Mount Hebron. And the king of Hebron went out with his 3 captains and 9 men, And these kings resolved to go to the sons of Jacob to make peace. They said to the king of Hebron, "Go before us with your men, speak for us to the sons of Jacob, and we will come after you and confirm your words." And the king of Hebron did so. The sons of Jacob heard that all the kings of Canaan had gathered together and rested in Hebron, and the sons of Jacob sent 4 of their servants as spies, saying, "Go and spy these kings, and search and examine their men, whether they are few or many, and if they are but few in number, count them all, and come back." And the servants of Jacob went secretly to these kings, and did as the sons of Jacob had commanded them. On that day they came back to the sons of Jacob, and said to them, "We came to those kings, and they are few in number. We counted them all, and surely there were 288 kings and men." The sons of Jacob said, "There are but few in number, therefore we will not all go out to them." In the morning the sons of Jacob rose up, and chose 62 of their men, and 10 of the sons of Jacob went with them. And they put on their weapons of war, for they said, "They are coming to make war with us," for they didn't know that they were coming to make peace with them. And the sons of Jacob went with their servants to the gate of Shechem, toward those kings, and their father Jacob was with them. And when they had come forth, there the king of Hebron and his 3 captains and 9 men with him were coming along the road toward the sons of Jacob. The sons of Jacob lifted up their eyes and saw at a distance Shapha, king of Hebron, with his captains coming toward them. And the sons of Jacob took their stand at the place of the gate of Shechem, and did not proceed. The king of Hebron continued to advance, he and his captains, until he came near to the sons of Jacob. He and his captains bowed down to them to the ground, and the king of Hebron sat with his captains in front of Jacob and his sons. The sons of Jacob said to him, "What has happened to you, O king of Hebron? Why have you come to us this day? What do you require from us?" And the king of Hebron said to Jacob, "I petition you, my lord, all the kings of the Canaanites have this day come to make peace with you." And the sons of Jacob heard the words of the king of Hebron. They would not consent to his proposals. The sons of Jacob had no faith in him, for they imagined that the king of Hebron had spoken deceitfully to them. The king of Hebron knew from the words of the sons of Jacob that they did not believe his words. And the king of Hebron approached near to Jacob, and said to him, "I beg you, my lord, to be assured that all the kings have come to you on peaceable terms, for they have not come with all their men, neither did they bring their weapons of war with them, for they have come to seek peace from my lord and his sons." The sons of Jacob answered the king of Hebron, saying, "Go to all these kings, and if you speak truth to us, let them each come singly before us. If they come to us unarmed, we shall then know that they seek peace from us." And Jephthah, king of Hebron, sent one of his men to the kings, and they all came before the sons of Jacob, and bowed down to them to the ground. These kings sat before Jacob and his sons, and spoke to them, saying, "We have heard all that you did to the kings of the Amorites, with your sword and great mighty arm, so that no man could stand up before you. We were afraid of you, for the sake of our lives, that it would happen to us as it did to them. So we have come to you to form a treaty of peace between us. And now therefore contract with us a covenant of peace and truth, that you will not meddle with us, inasmuch as we have not meddled with you." And the sons of Jacob knew that they had really come to seek peace from them. And the sons of Jacob listened to them, and formed a covenant with them. The sons of Jacob swore to them that they would not meddle with them. And all the kings of the Canaanites swore also to them. And the sons of Jacob made them pay tribute from that day forward. So they were paying to be peaceful. Verse 49, and after this all the captains of the kings came with their men before Jacob with presents in their hands for Jacob and his sons, and they bowed down to him to the ground. These kings then urged the sons of Jacob and begged of them to return all the spoil that they had captured from the 7 cities of the Amorites, and the sons of Jacob did so. They returned all that they had captured, the women, the little ones, the cattle, and all the spoil which they had taken, and they sent them off. They went away each to his city. And all these kings again bowed down to the sons of Jacob, and they sent or brought them many gifts in those days. The sons of Jacob sent off these kings and their men, and they went peaceably away from them to their cities. And the sons of Jacob also returned to their home in Shechem. And there was peace from that day forward between the sons of Jacob and the kings of the Canaanites, until the children of Israel came to inherit the land of Canaan. Chapter 41. At the revolution of the year, the sons of Jacob journeyed from Shechem, and they came to Hebron, to their father Isaac. They lived there, but their flocks and herds they fed daily in Shechem, for there was there in those days good and fatting pasture. Jacob and his sons and all their household lived in the valley of Hebron. It was in those days, in that year, being the 106th year of the life of Jacob, in the 10th year of Jacob's coming from Padan Aram, that Leah, the wife of Jacob, died. She was 51 years old when she died in Hebron. Jacob and his sons buried her in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which is in Hebron, which Abraham had bought from the children of Heth for possession of a burial place. The sons of Jacob lived with their father in the valley of Hebron. All the inhabitants of the land knew their strength, and their fame went throughout the land. Joseph, the son of Jacob, and his brother Benjamin, the son of Rachel, the wife of Jacob, were yet young in those days, and did not go out with their brothers during their battles in all the cities of the Amorites. And when Joseph saw the strength of his brothers and their greatness, he praised them and extolled them. But he ranked himself greater than them, and extolled himself above them. Jacob his father also loved him more than any of his sons, for he was the son of his old age. And through his love towards him, he made him a coat of many colors. And when Joseph saw that his father loved him more than his brothers, he continued to elevate himself above his brothers, and he brought to his father evil reports concerning them. The sons of Jacob, seeing all of Joseph's conduct toward them, and that their father loved him more than any of them, hated him, and could not even speak peaceably to him. Joseph was 17 years old, and he was still magnifying himself above his brothers, and thought of raising himself above them. At that time he dreamed a dream, and he came to his brothers and told them his dream. And he said to them, I dreamed a dream, and behold, we were all binding sheaves in the field, and my sheaf rose and placed itself on the ground, and your sheaves surrounded it and bowed down to it. And his brothers answered him and said to him, What means this dream that you did dream? Did you imagine in your heart to reign over or rule over us? And he still came and told things to his father Jacob. And Jacob kissed Joseph when he heard these words from his mouth. And Jacob blessed Joseph. When the sons of Jacob saw that their father had blessed Joseph and had kissed him, and that he loved him greatly, they became jealous of him and hated him all the more. After this, Joseph dreamed another dream, and related the dream to his father in the presence of his brothers. And Joseph said to his father and his brothers, Behold, I have again dreamed a dream, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowed down to me. And his father heard the words of Joseph and his dream, and seeing that his brothers hated Joseph on account of this matter, Jacob therefore rebuked Joseph before his brothers on account of this thing, saying, What does this dream mean which you have dreamed, and this magnifying yourself before your brothers who are older than you are? Do you imagine in your heart, and I and your mother and your 11 brothers will come and bow down to you, that you speak these things? And his brothers were jealous of him on account of his words and dreams. They continued to hate him. And Jacob reserved the dream in his heart. The sons of Jacob went one day to feed their father's flock in Shechem, for they were still herdsmen in those days. While the sons of Jacob were that day feeding in Shechem, they delayed, and the time of gathering in the cattle was past, and they had not arrived. And Jacob saw that his sons were delayed in Shechem, and Jacob said within himself, perhaps the people of Shechem had risen up to fight against them, therefore they have delayed coming today. And Jacob called Joseph his son and commanded him, saying, behold, your brothers are feeding in Shechem this day, and look, they have not yet come back. Therefore go and see where they are, and bring back word to me concerning the welfare of your brothers and the welfare of the flock. And Jacob sent his son Joseph to the valley of Hebron. Joseph came for his brothers to Shechem and could not find them. And Joseph went toward the field which was near Shechem to see where his brothers had turned. But he missed his road in the wilderness and did not know which way he should go. And an angel of the Elohim found him wandering in the road toward the field. And Joseph said to the angel of the Elohim, I seek my brothers. Have you not heard where they are feeding? And the angel of the Elohim said to Joseph, I saw your brothers feeding here, and I heard them say that they would go to feed in Dothan. Okay, remember when we were studying this in the Bible? I told you, keep an ear out down the road because we're going to learn about Dothan, what Dothan is all about. This is quite the place, like Las Vegas in the desert. Verse 23, Joseph listened to the voice of the angel of the Elohim, and he went to his brothers in Dothan, and he found them in Dothan, feeding the flock. Joseph advanced to his brothers, but before he had come near them, they had resolved to kill him. Simon said to his brothers, behold, the man of dreams has come to us this day. So now, come, and let us kill him and cast him into one of the pits that are in the wilderness. When his father shall seek him from us, we shall say, an evil beast has devoured him. Reuben heard the words of his brothers concerning Joseph, and said to them, you should not do this thing, for how can we look up to our father Jacob? Cast him into this pit to die there, but do not put forth a hand on him to spill his blood. Reuben said this in order to deliver him from their hand, to bring him back to his father. When Joseph came to his brothers, he sat before them, and they rose upon him to seize him, and struck him to the earth, and stripped the coat of many colors which he had on. They took him and cast him into the pit, and in the pit there was no water, but serpents and scorpions. And Joseph was afraid of the serpents and scorpions that were in the pit. Joseph cried out with a loud voice, and the Elohim hid the serpents and scorpions in the sides of the pit, and they did not harm Joseph. And Joseph called from the pit to his brothers and said to them, what have I done to you, and in what have I sinned? Why do you not fear the Elohim concerning me? Am I not of your bones and flesh? Is not Jacob your father, my father? Why do you do this thing to me this day? And how will you be able to look upon our father Jacob? And he continued to cry out, and called to his brothers from the pit. And he said, O Judah, Simon, and Levi my brothers, lift me up from this place of darkness in which you have placed me, and come this day to have compassion on me, you children of the Elohim, and sons of Jacob my father. And if I have sinned to you, are you not the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? If they saw an orphan, they had compassion over him, or one that was hungry, They gave him bread to eat, or one that was thirsty, they gave him water to drink, or one that was naked, they covered him with garments. And how then can you withhold your pity from your brother? For I am of your flesh and bone. And if I have sinned to you, certainly you will do this on account of my father. Joseph spoke these words from the pit, and his brothers could not listen to him, nor incline their ears to the words of Joseph. And Joseph was crying and weeping in the pit. And Joseph said, Oh, that my father knew this day the act which my brothers have done to me, and the words which they have this day spoken to me. All his brothers heard his cries and weeping in the pit, and his brothers went and removed themselves from the pit, so that they might not hear the cries of Joseph and his weeping in the pit. Chapter 42. They went and sat on the opposite side, about a distance of a bow shot, and they sat there to eat bread. While they were eating, they held counsel together what was to be done with him, whether to kill him or bring him back to his father. They were holding their counsel, when they lifted up their eyes and saw at once there was a company of Ishmaelites coming at a distance by the road of Gilead, going down to Egypt. And Judah said to them, What again will it be to us if we kill our brother? Perhaps Yahweh will require him from us. This then is the counsel proposed concerning him, which you shall do to him. Look at this company of Ishmaelites going down to Egypt. So now let us dispose of him to them, and let not our hand be on him. They will lead him along with them, and he will be lost among the people of the land, and will not put him to death with our own hands. And the proposal pleased his brothers, and they did according to the words of Judah. While they were discussing this matter, and before the company of Ishmaelites had come up to them, 7 trading men of Midian passed by them. As they passed, they were thirsty, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the same pit in which Joseph was held. And they looked and saw every species of bird was on him. The Midianites ran to the pit to drink water, for they thought that it contained water. And on coming to the pit, they heard the voice of Joseph crying and weeping in there. And they looked down into the pit, and then they saw there was a youth of good-looking appearance and well-favored. They called to him and said, Who are you, and who brought you here, and who placed you in this pit in the wilderness? And they all assisted to raise up Joseph, and they drew him out and brought him up from the pit, and took him and went away on their journey, and passed by his brothers. And these said to them, Why do you do this, to take our servant from us and go away? Certainly we placed this youth in the pit because he rebelled against us, and you come and bring him up and lead him away. Now then, give us back our servant. And the Midianites answered and said to the sons of Jacob, Is this your servant, or does this man attend you? Perhaps you are all his servants, for he is more handsome and well-favored than any of you. And why do you all speak falsely to us? So we will not listen to your words, nor give you our attention, for we found the youth in the pit in the wilderness, and we took him. We will therefore go on. And all the sons of Jacob approached them, and rose up to them, and said to them, Give us back our servant, and why will you all die by the edge of the sword? And the Midianites cried out against them, and they drew their swords and approached to fight with the sons of Jacob. Then Simon rose up from his seat against them, and sprang on the ground, and drew his sword, and approached the Midianites, and he gave a terrible shout before them, so that his shouting was heard at a distance, and the earth shook at Simon's shouting. The Midianites were terrified on account of Simon, and the noise of his shouting, and they fell on their faces, and were excessively alarmed. Simon said to them, Surely I am Simon, the son of Jacob the Hebrew, who have only with my brothers destroyed the city of Shechem, and the cities of the Amorites. So shall Yahweh moreover do to me, if all your brothers, the people of Midian, and also the kings of Canaan, were to come with you. They could not fight against me. Now therefore give us back the youth whom you have taken, or I'll give your flesh to the birds of the skies and the beasts of the earth." The Midianites were more afraid of Simon, and they approached the sons of Jacob with terror and fright, and with pathetic words, saying, "Certainly you have said that the young man is your servant, and that he rebelled against you, and therefore you placed him in the pit. What then will you do with a servant who rebels against his master? So now sell him to us, and we will give you all that you require for him." The Elohim was pleased to do this in order that the sons of Jacob should not kill their brother. And the Midianites saw that Joseph was a good-looking appearance and well-favored. They desired him in their hearts and were urged to purchase him from his brothers. The sons of Jacob listened to the Midianites, and they sold their brother Joseph to them for 20 pieces of silver. Reuben their brother was not with them, and the Midianites took Joseph and continued their journey to Gilead. They were going along the road, and the Midianites repented of what they had done in having purchased the young man. And one said to the other, "What is this thing that we have done in taking this youth from the Hebrews, who is of good-looking appearance and well-favored? Perhaps this youth is stolen from the land of the Hebrews. And why then have we done this thing? If he should be sought for and found in our hands, we shall die through him. Now certainly hardy and powerful men have sold him to us, the strength of one of whom you saw this day. Perhaps they stole him from his land with their might and with their powerful arm, and have therefore sold him to us for a small value which we gave to them." While they were thus discussing together, they looked and saw the company of Ishmaelites, which were coming at first, and which the sons of Jacob saw, was advancing towards the Midianites. The Midianites said to each other, "Come, let us sell this youth to the company of Ishmaelites, who are coming towards us. We will take for him the little that we gave for him, and we will be delivered from this evil." And they did so. And they reached the Ishmaelites, and the Midianites sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, which they had given for him to his brothers. And the Midianites went on the road to Gilead, and the Ishmaelites took Joseph, and they let him ride on one of the camels, and they were leading him to Egypt. When Joseph heard that the Ishmaelites were proceeding to Egypt, Joseph lamented and wept at this thing, that he was to be so far removed from the land of Canaan, from his father. And he wept bitterly while he was riding on the camel. One of their men observed him, and made him go down from the camel and walk on foot. And still Joseph continued to cry and weep. And he said, "O my father, O my father!" One of the Ishmaelites rose up and struck Joseph on the cheek, and still he continued to weep. And Joseph was fatigued in the road, and was unable to proceed on account of the bitterness of his soul. They all struck him, and afflicted him in the road, and they terrified him in order that he might cease from weeping. And the Elohim saw the condition of Joseph and his trouble, and the Elohim brought down on those men darkness and confusion, and the hand of everyone that struck him became withered. And they said to each other, "What is this thing that Yahweh has done to us in the road?" And they knew not that this befell them on account of Joseph. And the men proceeded on the road, and they passed along the road of Ephrath, where Rachel was buried. Joseph reached his mother's grave, and Joseph hurried and ran to his mother's grave, and fell on the grave and wept. Joseph cried aloud on his mother's grave, and said, "O mother, my mother, oh, you did give birth to me. Awake now, and rise and see your son, how he has been sold for a slave, and no one to pity him." Oh, rise and see your son. Weep with me on account of my troubles, and see the heart of my brothers. Arouse, my mother, arouse, awake from your sleep for me, and direct your battles against my brothers. Oh, how they have stripped me of my coat, and sold me already twice for a slave, and separated me from my father, and there is no one to pity me. Arouse and lay your cause against them before Yahweh, and see whom Yahweh will justify in the judgment, and whom he will condemn. Rise, O my mother, rise, awake from your sleep, and see my father, how his soul is with me this day, and comfort him, and ease his heart. And Joseph continued to speak these words, and Joseph cried aloud and wept bitterly on his mother's grave, and he ceased speaking, and from bitterness of heart, and he became still as a stone on the grave. And Joseph heard a voice speaking to him from beneath the ground, which answered him with bitterness of heart, and with a voice of weeping, and praying in these words, my son Joseph, I have heard the voice of your weeping, and the voice of your lamentation. I have seen your tears. I know your troubles, my son, and it grieves me for your sake, and abundant grief is added to my grief. Now therefore, my son Joseph, my son, hope in the Elohim, and wait for him, and do not fear, for the Elohim is with you. He will deliver you from all trouble. Rise, my son, go down to Egypt with your masters, and do not fear, for the Elohim is with you, my son. And she continued to speak like these words to Joseph, and she was still. And Joseph heard this, and he wondered greatly at this, and he continued to weep. After this, one of the Ishmaelites observed him crying and weeping on the grave, and his anger was set ablaze against him, and he drove him from there, and he struck him and cursed him. And Joseph said to the men, May I find grace in your sight to take me back to my father's house, and he will give you abundance of riches? And they answered him, saying, Are you not a slave? And where is your father? And if you had a father, would not already twice have been sold for a slave for so little value? Their anger was still roused against him, and they continued to strike him and to chastise him, and Joseph wept bitterly. The Elohim saw Joseph's affliction, and the Elohim again struck these men and chastised them, and the Elohim caused darkness to envelope them on the earth, and the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and the earth shook at the voice of thunder and of the mighty wind. The men were terrified, and knew not where they should go. The beasts and camels stood still, and they led them, but they would not go. They struck them, and they crouched on the ground. The men said to each other, What is this that Yahweh has done to us? What are our transgressions, and what are our sins? This thing has thus befallen us. One of them answered and said to them, Perhaps on account of the sin of afflicting this slave has this thing happened this day to us. Now we should implore him strongly to forgive us, and then we shall know on whose account this evil befalls us. If Yahweh will have compassion over us, then we shall know that all this comes to us on account of the sin of afflicting this slave. And the men did so, and they supplicated Joseph and pressed him to forgive them. And they said, We have sinned to the Elohim and to you. Now therefore vouchsafe to request of your Elohim that he shall put away this death from among us, for we have sinned to him. Joseph did according to their words, and the Elohim listened to Joseph, and the Elohim put away the plague which he had inflicted on those men on account of Joseph. The beasts rose up from the ground, and they conducted them, and they went on. The raging storm abated, and the earth became tranquilized, and the men proceeded on their journey to go down to Egypt. The men knew that this evil had befallen them on account of Joseph. And they said to each other, We now know that it was on account of his affliction that this evil befell us. Now why shall we bring this death on our souls? Let us hold counsel what to do to this slave. And one answered and said, Certainly he has told us to bring him back to his father. So come, let us take him back, and we will go to the place that he will tell us, and take from his family the price that we gave for him, and we will then go away. One answered again and said, Behold, this counsel is very good, but we cannot do so far. The way is very far from us, and we cannot leave our road. One more answered and said to them, This is the counsel to be adopted. We will not swerve from it. Behold, we are this day going to Egypt, and we shall have come to Egypt. We will sell him there at a high price, and we will be delivered from his evil. And this thing pleased the men, and they did so. They continued their journey to Egypt with Joseph. Well, I guess we didn't get to the part that was about Dathan. It's been a couple of years since I read this, so I can't remember where that's at. But Dathan is like the Las Vegas of the desert. It's not a very good place that those boys are at. Anyway, gang, a lot of action going on there, and it runs right alongside the Bible, doesn't it? Sure does, especially about all the stuff that happened to Joseph. There was a few places where we colored in some pictures, but besides that, it went right alongside the Bible. Well, gang, that's it for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for joining me again tonight. This is a really cool study, and I hope you're enjoying it. So, until Wednesday for our midweek Bible study, that's all I've got. So we'll see you then. Shalom.